All right, guys, give me a thumbs up if you can see all the slides on the screen. There you go. Josh can see it. Andrew can see it. Ken, can you see the slides? There we go. Cool. So, as always, welcome to probably the first episode of the Training Lab in its new format. ChatGPT versus old school coaching, the surprising edge in running performance. So I've got new slides for you guys today. I've got a new fancy pointy clicker I'm trying out because Zoom now allows me to use PowerPoint on my presentation. So let's dive straight in. Let's talk about ChatGPT versus old school coaching and how we're using it right now, specifically for running here in Strength Matters. So as always, first mistake, I need to click back on the presentation. There we go. Now it should be working. So goal for you guys today is this. We're going to dive into how combining ChatGPT with traditional coaching can give fitness professionals a unique edge, enhancing the way they guide their clients to better running results. Now, you can use it for so many different things: nutrition, strength training, anything else too. But we're going to focus on running because we're seeing the best results using this for running right now. So there are three objectives for what we're trying to do today. Number one is demystify ChatGPT for running and how you fitness pros can use ChatGPT for running and how the technology behind ChatGPT is working and how it's changing the game. Number two is personalized predictions, right? We'll learn how just a single 5K time can be used to accurately predict your client's 2K times and other times accordingly. And we're going to use maximum aerobic speed in action. We're going to use a real life example where we're based on a 5K time trial. We're going to use the maximum aerobic speed workouts to do something for a client we've had recently and put it all into perspective. So those are three objectives for today's training plan. So number one, let's demystify ChatGPT. So if you're not using it yet, why not? And what's holding you back if you're not doing it? Now, we've all been there. Wondering if our training programs are good enough or as good as they could be, and always asking, is there something we could do more for clients? Well, what if I told you there was, and there is right now? That is the world of ChatGPT. So I love this quote by William Gibson. The future is already here. It's just not very evenly distributed, right? The point being here, right? The future of training is with us. That is ChatGPT. However, it's up to us to distribute it and use it and benefit from it accordingly. So we've taken a while. So many people are showing how they're using ChatGPT. But like most things, we like to do things a little bit later after we've had time to process it and use it ourselves in person. We're not copying everybody else. We want to see how we use it within our business ourselves. So the future is here, just how you use it. So why should we be using ChatGPT? Let's look at a side-by-side comparison of traditional coaching versus ChatGPT. So on the traditional side of things, we have human insight, understands emotional and mental aspect of things, really important. We have personal connection, we have flexibility, and we also have experience. These are all the key traits of traditional coaching that is never going to be replaced, okay? However, when we combine this with ChatGPT, we can use data-driven algorithms to predict performance. We can use scalability because we can manage multiple clients' data at once and see trends potentially. Precision, right? It really does offer calculated running times for various different distances if we're using running as a predictor. And also it becomes very tech savvy. Seamless integrates with other digital platforms for comprehensive tracking. What do I mean by that? Well, potentially, this is where we're looking at the idea of technology. We can combine this with multiple different platforms to get a real good insight into people's health and well-being, i.e. combine their smartwatches with other training predictions and stuff like that. So we see the ChatGPT is integrating, like many other companies are using, into their business to scale things up and help our lives become a lot easier to make better data-driven decisions. That's kind of what we're seeing with comparison 2x2. So we don't think, oh, Jürgen's coming in. We don't think ChatGPT is going to replace you as coaches. However, we do see this as a potential partner long term. So is it magic? A lot of people ask, is this stuff at ChatGPT magic? And no, but it feels very close. However, you can understand that ChatGPT can sift through thousands of data points that affect running performance if we're talking just about running, other things too. Everything from most recent 5K times, the nuances of training, it just goes through everything, and it does so in real time, generating insights that might take us hours to get to otherwise. So it's speeding up the process. We're still using our intelligence, our intuition, but we're speeding up the process of analytics and data by using ChatGPT. And imagine this having this level of analysis with every single client that we work with. It's really important, and we can scale things up accordingly, right? So it's not quite magic, but it can be if used correctly. So imagine ChatGPT as your new partner in work, right? So it's like this little Venn diagram says it all. You have traditional coaching on one side, ChatGPT on the other. So imagine combining your coaching expertise with ChatGPT's data analytics. They overlap, and that's what we see where the future of coaching really lies. It's not about replacing coaches, it's about enhancing what we can do already. So think about this. You're good at coaching, you know how people feel, what they need. That's the one circle on the left-hand side. That's the traditional coach, right? And on the other side, that's ChatGPT. It's smart, fast, and good with numbers, right? You can have a lot of people at once, giving each one a personalized plan. See where the circles overlap in the diagram? Well, that's the sweet spot. And it's not about choosing one or the other. It's about combining them both to offer something absolutely great. So with ChatGPT, right, it's not about replacing trainers, which some people are talking about right now. It's about getting better at what you're doing already. It handles the maths, right, whilst you handle the coaching. I think that's a really good way to put it. So together, we can hopefully scale our business to new dizzying heights and provide better results and better experiences for our clients. So let's talk about this. The second point I want to talk about today is personalized predictions, the power of one run. So ever think one run could tell you so much? Well, it can. Just a single 5K time can help us get so much data, and like a treasure trove of data, basically, on other things that we're trying to do and trying to achieve. Right, I'm going to show you how we do this every step of the way. So on the screen, we're going to use specific examples of what we've done already with somebody. And then at the end, I'm going to go walk you through an example live on ChatGPT of how we do it for somebody. So hopefully some interaction to give you some times, so you can see that we're not just like making this up, we're doing it live on screen as we go ahead. So how it works, the math behind the magic when it comes to running. So in terms of ChatGPT, to calculate predicted running times, there are two methods, right? They have the VDOT method and you have the Regal formula. Now, the VDOT method is more of a generalist overview. It needs loads of data points, stuff like that, but ChatGPT can do it. However, it's not as accurate as the second formula, which is the Regal formula, right? Which is time 2 equals time 1. So time 2 is your predicted time you want to try and get. Time 1 is your whatever, 5K, 10K, whatever time you got, times distance 1 divided by distance 2, and then to the power of 1/6. All right, so that's kind of like what the formula is. But guess what? You don't need to worry about fancy formulas because ChatGPT can do it for you, right? That's the whole point. So let's use a specific case study of someone we've used. So we're going to use Magic Mike as an example. So I love Magic Mike. Don't think of the strip show with Channing Tatum, whatever you do. And don't think of Michael Jordan. It's an actual runner, but I'm calling him Magic Mike for the sake of it. So he's a 35-year-old software engineer with a passion for running. Juggling a busy work schedule and family life, he still finds time to hit the track every weekend. Mike enjoys the challenge and freedom of running brings, and has participated in various 5K and 10K community races. Magic Mike is very much like every other recreational runner we may be working with as trainers all over the world, right? Very much like this. Not on elite, some people work with elite runners, great, but most people work with these types of people. So Magic Mike, picture him in your head. So current time and goals, we need to understand this. So in order to help Mike and help use ChatGPT accordingly, we need to know what his goals are. So he has recently run a 10K at 51:26, not too shabby, right? He puts him in the amber section in our Strength Matters scoring system. If you want to get a real green score and get top marks in our scoring system, he has to run sub 48. So he's not in the top 10% of people we work with, but he's in the top 25. So he's doing okay for himself, not a bad time at all. But he has he's a new goal. His new goal is to hit 2K in under 8 minutes, like a 2K time trial he wants to go. He wants to go, instead of doing the long, slow stuff, he wants to get faster and try and work on that over the course of the winter. So using ChatGPT, right, here's what ChatGPT created for us in less than 30 seconds, right? No joke. This is what it created in less than 30 seconds. We figured out what his 200-meter predicted time could be. Now, there's a caveat to this, and I'll come back to this afterwards. What his 400-meter time could be, what his 800-meter time could be, what his 1,500-meter time could be, and what his 2K predicted time could be in less than 30 seconds, right? Now, when you're using these formulas, and when you take a larger data point, such as a 500-meter run, a 5K run time, and go to lower numbers, it's not as accurate as going up. So scaling down is not as accurate as going up. So in and around the 200, 400 meter mark, you've got to be a bit careful. Like I would guess he's a bit quicker than 0.52 seconds to the 200 meters. That's just a guess. But around the 400 meters, running easy aerobic pieces around 1:43 could be a bit right. Because just remember, it's calculating based on his current average time and the formula that he has for 5K, right? So it's very different to 200, 400, 800 meters, different energy system most of the time. So you're going to be mindful of this. However, I find, and we find, Josh, you can come in and share this now as well, around the 1,500 meter and 2K mark, it's pretty accurate. Josh, what would you say?
Yeah, we got Teresa who's doing this at the moment, and she's actually slightly faster than her predicted 1,500 meter time, which surprised me because time-wise, it looked, she's fast. She is very fast, but it's all about like recovery and then doing it again, recovery and doing it again. And she's like doing it at about 30 seconds faster than what ChatGPT predicted, but that's fine because it gives us some leeway, which is good.
It is, and also technically, she's a very elite ultra endurance runner. She's at the highest level of what we're working in terms of runners, so it's very good with that. So, and also, I think we talked about this earlier today, didn't we? The fact that there's a lot of times that she was going faster than the predicted time. However, she couldn't sustain it for long periods, could she? So, like it.
Yeah, no, absolutely, because we've got her doing 3 days of different running back to back. And we had a little chat about it saying, okay, well, how did day 2 go? How did day 3 go? It's like, well, I was feeling it in my legs a little bit. It's like, okay, well, then there you go. Maybe we try and slow down, get do your time that I've asked you to do. And maybe day 2 and day 3, you'll feel a little bit better. And in fact, last weekend, she's done exactly that. She's still too quick. She did a 5:10, around 5:10 this week, which is still 20 seconds too quick. But her Saturday and Sunday runs both went better. So
there you go. So it's a starting point, and that's exactly what it is. It's a good starting point for us to look at and to give them to hear. Now, what I like as well is in the 2K time limit we've got here as an example. So Magic Mike wanted to run sub 8 minutes in the 2K time trial. So based on the predictions, I can go 8:36. That's not too far away. So he's got a more realistic goal set. Do I think I can help him get to sub 8 minutes? Absolutely. So I can tell him so. However, if it came back and told me 9:32 or 9:36 or whatever it is, and he says, I go, that's going to take a long time, right? So we need to bear this in mind. So it's kind of accurate. So we can go, yeah, do you know what? We can help him with this. He's in a good place mentally, what he wants to achieve and do. We think, yes, it's in a good place. So it's given us an idea, a rough ballpark figure of what these numbers can potentially do. Okay, so literally in less than 30 seconds, ChatGPT has calculated these numbers. So we now know these numbers for his running, potentially, if we're going to work towards a 2K time trial. So let's kind of put this into action, right? So let's see how we would plan and strategize how we put like a maximum aerobic speed session or workouts together for Magic Mike applying this. Now, this is just specifically for the 2K time trial, but you can see what we're using and how we're using ChatGPT to get there to make these informed decisions. So this is all about combining ChatGPT with maximum aerobic speed. So if you don't know what maximum aerobic speed is, it's the work based on Dan Baker. It's a staple in performance training today. So we're going to use his kind of methods married with ChatGPT analytics for what we call unprecedented training results. So we're going to adapt some of the work that he does for our own single pieces. So when it comes to Dan Baker, he's all about working at 120% of your aerobic speed, right? So for his stuff, you need to be running between 5 and 10 minutes, right, max, to calculate your aerobic speed meters per second, per se. So what we're trying to do here is now is, well, we can't do that with a 5K run, and we don't try to run multiple different things. So by using the 5K effort, right, we can guesstimate his 2K run, and based on his 2K run, we have that 5 to 10 minute window. So 2K time trial is really good for doing aerobic speed work here. This is why we're in this area here. What we're trying to do is 120% of his 2K time trial, not his 5K stuff. That's too slow. It needs to be in the 5 to 10 minute window of 120%. So this is why the 2K time trial is great based on these prediction numbers. Does that make sense, everyone? Give me a thumbs up if that's okay. Like, yeah, cool, all good. Right. So mapping out the plan, how to create a training plan for a faster 2K run using ChatGPT and based on his original 5K time. So the first thing we need to do is calculate his predicted 2K run time, which we have is 8:36 at the moment. Yep, so we're all happy with that. We've calculated his run using ChatGPT. That's what it's going to be using the Regal formula. Then we need to determine what his minutes per kilometer pace for goal time is, i.e. he wants to get sub 8 minutes. So we always like to go just below the 8 minute mark to 7:50, 10 seconds below, just to give a rough idea and a bit of leeway. We need to know what his minute per kilometer pace is. Now you can do the same with minute per mile pace, stuff like that. We're just using kilometers because we're European. How about that? We're going all metric on you guys. So if we're confusing the hell out of you Americans, you're welcome, right? So we need to determine your current minute per kilometer pace for the goal time. Then we're going to calculate goal pace for 200, 400, and 800 meters, right? Based on that new minute per kilometer pace for goal time, we do 200, 400 prediction times. And then we're going to calculate the 120% current pace for our 200, 400, and 800. Now, if you're getting a bit confused, don't worry, we've got some specific examples coming now shortly, right? But the idea is we need to know what his current predicted time is, what his current, what the goal time per minute per kilometer is going to be, what the goal pace for each of those things is going to be. Then based off his current pace of 8:36, right? We're then going to start and having a look at the 200, 400 meter ideas there. So that's where we're going with this. So as I let Terry into the room, she can come in there as well. There we go. So the 120% formula adapted for ChatGPT. We need to bear this in mind, that we need to make some adaptations for ChatGPT because it can't do everything for us. And we've also got to make sure that we understand what we're doing in simple layman's terms. We can't really calculate meters per second. It just becomes too complicated in terms of how we calculate his distance and all sorts of that. We don't want to worry about that. We're working on time. So we work on his current average pace per minute kilometer mile. So the 120% method, our formula for this in ChatGPT is very simply new pace equals old pace times 100% divided by 120%. That's the formula in the simplest of terms. So there's the formula. That's how we apply it. That's the logic behind it. And that's what we asked ChatGPT to do. So here's Mike's times at current pace based on his 51.26. That's a 10K pace, actually. That's not what we're looking at here now. So it's his 4 minute pace. So we're looking at 4 minutes, 18 seconds per kilometer pace. Josh, while you're busy, calculate the 5K time, because that's an old 10K time I put on accidentally. Right, so based on a 5K time that he has done, right, we have got his 4 minutes, 18 seconds per kilometer. That's his current pace, which gives us a time of 200 meters at 52 seconds, which again is too slow, 400 meters, 143, 800 meters, 327, and then 630 of 1500 meters. And again, his current 2K time at 8:36. We've just gone backwards along this map. That's his current times, his current paces. Now, if we want to go to his Mike's times at race pace, right? So he wants to do a 2K in 7:50, right? His race pace needs to be 3 minutes, 55 seconds per kilometer. And ChatGPT is calculated this for us, which means we have a 200 meter time of 47 seconds, 400 meter of 134, 800 meter of 308, a 1500 meter of 553, and then 2K of 750. So if we want him running at race pace, right, what we like to do is start with low volume and build and extend out. So we could get him running 200 meters at 47 seconds, which means he's running at the race pace. He may find it super easy, but that's okay. We like to flirt with our threshold and extend out. So we then could do 400 meters at 134, then go up to 800 meters and then 1500 meters. Now he may struggle with the top end of stuff, but we don't start there straight away. We're doing multiple repeats of 200 meters, then we're doing multiple repeats of 400 meters, and then scaling it to 800 meters accordingly. Josh, have you figured out the time yet? I think it's 23 something, wasn't
it? Yes. No, I haven't, but yes, it was something like that.
There we go. Anyway, it should be 10K, 23 minutes. My bad for putting the slides here. Badly to get. That's the idea of what his race pace is, and ChatGPT did this for us, right? So let's look at Mike's times at 120% mass pace. So his 120% pace is 3 minutes, 35 seconds per kilometer, based on current pace, not goal pace. We do not want to calculate his 120% of what his future goal race pace is going to be, because that's going to be way too fast for him and he ain't going to be able to keep up. So we bring it back to the 4:35, I believe it was, and we work from there and scale it accordingly. So again, we now know his 200-meter pace at 120% is 43 seconds, right? It's what 400 is 126, 800 meters is 252, 1500 is 523, and then 2K is 710, right? So we see where we're going here now. So like we know that this is about right. Okay, so we now know in terms of an easy day, he's running at current pace for his 5K, right? That's gonna be nice and easy. For a medium day, he's gonna be running at race pace. For a hard day, he's running at mass, right? And you can see by his 2K times, it's going from 8:36, 7:50, 7:10, right? We've got to extend him out and get him to that stage and build it up over time. So by having those three metrics numbers, we can start building plans together. Now, like I alluded to earlier on, the Regal formula is better at guessing long runs from shorter ones than the other way around. Okay, so in an ideal world, if you have somebody's 5K time, you can better predict their 10K, half marathon, marathon, ultra marathons, etc. down the line. But we also like to use it the other way around. And this is why we're using it today as an example, is because we want to show you that it's a bit more complicated this way, but the power of ChatGPT is that much simpler. So we can do it either way. It's easier on the way up, but we're showing you the more complex way of going on the way down. All right. So Mike's 3-step training plan. So this is just an idea. I'm not going into specifics and training plans. We all have our own ways. We're all great coaches. We all know how to do different things. But when we're doing a training plan for something like this, we like to include a mixture of the following 3 types of workouts. So we want to do an easy current pace, right? This is aerobic work. It could be math work, maximum aerobic function, 180 minus your age. So we're going to do several runs aerobically at the current 5K pace, or ideally math. So we're doing 2K to 5K distances. We're going above the 2K level. That's going to be nice and easy work, right? We then also want to do some race pace work, so several shorter runs of a race pace around 200 meters to 1500 meters distance. Ideally, we start around 200 meters and we extend out to get into around 1500 meters, right? And they're doing multiple repeats of them. So like 200 meters, you could do 10, 12 repeats, 400 meters, more 8, 10, 1500 meters, maybe 3 to 5, whatever it is, right? With the idea of doing repeats of these here at race pace. So we'll set in a lot of time for him to do these things in. And then we're going to do 120% race. So this is the harder stuff, right? Faster ones, 120% pace. We don't see many people going past 800 meters in this, if ever. 200 to 400 meters is about right. Sometimes you can scale it back to 100 meters in some cases too. So bear in mind, as you're working at 120% pace, the distance you're going to try and cover is much less. But over time, ideally adaptations, over a year or two's training, we might see this improve considerably and go further at this current pace. But we have to recalculate the current 120% pace by recalculating every time they get better over each period. So test, don't guess, otherwise you're just guessing most of the time. So it's all about
predictable. So this is where we can use Teresa as an example. She is doing 1500, 120% pace, and she's smashing it because she's like super experienced. She's, pace-wise, she's improved even a lot this year as well. So she is actually able to do a 1500 meters at 120% pace.
But she's been training with us now 4 years, I think it is. And we've done a lot of math work. There's a lot of years of volume.
Years of math, that's it, Years
of volume work. And she's running 10K fast. She's running 5K. I think, was it 5K recently? Was it 20 minutes? I think it was.
Let me check.
Well, while you're checking, it's around 20 minutes, and she's 54 years young. All right. So just to put that into perspective, she's very, very good at what she's doing.
22:52 it was.
52. There you go. Right. So that's kind of how we're putting together, and this is the theory behind it. Right. So key takeaways for all fitness pros who want to use ChatGPT and how we're applying this is as simple. Here's why we think ChatGPT is the future. It's personalized training. Using ChatGPT for runners, you can tailor each client's training plan down to the second and to the meter. Efficiency, right? Really is efficiency. Spend less time crunching numbers and more time coaching. ChatGPT handles the data so you can focus on form, motivation, and the technique, or the training plan itself. And adaptability. All right? Have I said that right? I can't even speak today. It's been a long weekend.
Adaptability. There you go, James.
I'm to speak today. Whether your clients are beginners or seasoned marathoners, this approach scales with their abilities, right? Young, old, elite, it scales with their abilities. And finally, we're making data-driven decisions. We're making informed choices and actual performance metrics, not guesswork. There's some educated guesswork on the 2K time to predict this, but it's based on data that we're collecting early doors. This is why we like to use the 5K time trial as one of our early cardiovascular capacity tests in the early stages. We don't think that people are ready for 2K time trials straight away, but it gives us an aerobic snapshot in between here. So in an ideal world, to go faster, shorter, we want shorter distances to calculate these times. So a 10K half marathon isn't particularly good for the 2K time trial. 5K is okay, it works well, but just bear that in mind, it scales up better than it does going down.
Again, we reverse engineered it for Teresa off her 5K time.
Yeah, exactly. That's the whole point. This is what we discovered along the whole way. So I remember, you're marrying your hands-on coaching with ChatGPT's analytical prowess. It isn't just the future, it should be your present right now. And we're going to share more of this in the coming weeks of how we're using it to work with our clients. Like I said, it's taken us a while, but we wanted to make sure we're using it right and it works with our clients first, so we can be the guinea pigs and we're not just sprouting the same stuff that everyone else is talking about everywhere else. So, questions? Any questions so far on what I've talked about, the theory and the points going across? So, Josh, Andrew, any questions from you guys?
Nope, not at the moment. Just want to say that it's Chat GPT version 4, isn't it? That does the accurate maths.
Yeah, ChatGPT 4. We pay the $20 subscription for the advanced one. So that's where the better one comes with that. Andrew, any questions?
No, it's so good to see this running. I know you've been saying about it for a while, so it's good to see it in action here.
Cool. Ken, any questions from you, man? Have you guys been using it at NASM at all, or seen any of this stuff at the moment?
We, as far as the National Academy of Sports Medicine goes, we haven't done anything as in-depth as you guys have on the conditioning side, so all great information and definitely going to dive into this more.
Cool. Awesome. Jürgen, our little famous Swedish Norwegian. No, he's all good.
No, I'm good.
Nice one. Cool. So, as always, who wants to see this in action? There we go.
Do it. Don't mess up the prompts, will you?
Exactly. I know. That's exactly what I'm going to see now. So this is absolutely live. So let's get rid of that. Let's bring this up. Let me know when you can see my ChatGPT screen.
Yep.
Yeah, see it okay? I'm going to take your word because I can't see it in my end. Yeah, Josh, Ken, thumbs up. Jürgen, thumbs up if you can see it. Okay, so like anything with technology and data, it's all about the prompts that you use and how you're trying to apply it. So I like to do the following. You are a running coach, an expert in maths, and can convey information easily across to people. I need your help. Calculating running times for my clients. Can you do this? Just acknowledge. Yeah, that's one of the prompts I've learned over using ChatGPT quite a bit now, is what I can do. So let's use this so I'm not doing this out of like anything else. Jürgen, give me a 5K time out randomly from someone you may have known or worked with in the past or something like that. Just give me a time potentially you've used.
Okay, no, I had one in mind, but it was a mountain marathon this weekend, and I did it. No, sorry. Just go with Ken or Josh.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so just someone give me a 5K time. So I don't choose myself. So like Ken, give me a random 5K time. There you go.
You know I don't run.
No, exactly. So one of your clients then, just imagine, just give you a random number. Anywhere between 20 minutes and 34 minutes. There you go. How about that?
22:30.
There you go.
What was that?
22:30.
22:30. Okay, cool. I have a client who
you could have used Ellis.
exactly. Oh, yeah, I couldn't actually, yeah. But I didn't want to come from me.
Yeah.
I have a client who runs a 5 kilometer in 22:30. Using a formula, ideally the Regal formula. Please calculate predicted times for a 2K time trial. There we go. Josh, can you have a look at the chat for me, mate, to see what's going on?
Yeah, it's just Ken saying he had to step away from it for a minute.
Oh, no worries. Now, as I'm doing this, it's really important that you let ChatGPT calculate the formula on the screen. You can prompt it to say, don't do the calculations in the formulas. However, I found that it's less accurate and it gets things wrong when it doesn't do it. So you need to let it work out the times accordingly. Okay, so let the formulas take place here now. So what we have, which I think is just about right, we have a 8 minutes, 55 seconds potential time for a 2K time trial. Josh, do you do any fancy calculations your end, or you?
I'm just looking at the times because obviously this is live, and I've got I'm a Luddite. I've got the old school calculator. I'm wondering if I can do it. So 22:30. It might take me a little bit of time, but I'll probably get
there. So you got this. So at the moment, like we've got here now a number. So someone's particular 2K time trial is 8 minutes 55 seconds, right? So if we want to do this now, once we have the 2K time at the top, we can then say to it, okay, now do something similar for a predicted time of 200 meters, 400 meters, 800 meters, and 1500 meters. Put the info into a table at the end. Show the workings, right? Because I'm now doing multiple things. I want them to show the workings for each one to make sure this is doing it accordingly. Again, this is taking, I can do this in 30 seconds normally, which is really important. I'm doing this the longer way around to try and explain it to all you guys here and how we're doing it. So, as you can see, the workings are happening here based on his time. So 47.4 seconds for 200 meters potentially. We've got 1 minute 38 for 400 meters. 800 meters. 1500 meters. If you're good at maths, don't worry about it. ChatGPT does most of it for you, right? And again, as Josh said earlier on, you've got to understand that we find ChatGPT 4 is way more accurate and predictable than 3.5. So we do pay the extra $20 service per month. But there you go. That's a little summary table at the end. Thank you very much, ChatGPT, for doing that. And that we have based on the Regal formula. So that's roughly the times we're playing around here now. So hopefully Josh can collaborate this with some of the other outside calculators. Have you found anything, Josh?
So it's more difficult. It takes a bit longer, which we don't have time for on this. It is doable on the running pace calculator, but to reverse engineer it back to the 2K time does take a bit longer. It gives you your per mile or per kilometer pacing. You can get a 400-meter lap pace and stuff like that. But yeah, to go from a 5K back to a 2K takes a little bit longer, which is why it's good because we taught ChatGPT to do this.
Well, we did, yeah. I'm doing it straight from scratch as well, so you guys see how we're trying to do it. So there's a quicker way once you train it up and doing it. But roughly, it's about right. From what I can see from the times based on Magic Mike's 51:26, this is about right for this 10K trial, a 5K time trial here. So we have these numbers. We have the 2K time trial based on our system. We have the and the 400, 800 meters are based on his current pace, based on this time here. Now, what we need to do is we need to work out what they want to try and achieve. So let's say they're working out they want to improve the 2K time trial. So they have 8 minutes 55, and they want to run 8 minutes. Let's say they want to knock off 55 seconds, right? So I then ask it for a goal of running 2 kilometers in 8 minutes. What is the average minutes per kilometer pace for this goal? Yeah, I'll ask it now. Again, you let it do the workings, right? Really important to make sure it doesn't get it wrong in its own time. This is why I need some la-di-da music. Don't have to fill a music. What's going on? Right. So again, I knew what the answer was going to be. It's 4 minutes per kilometer, right? Because I'm using 8 minutes on the nose. Okay. So that's the idea. So we now know 4 minutes. 4 minutes per kilometer is the pace we want to do it. They need to run it if they want to achieve an 8 minute sub 2K time. So what is the current minute per kilometer pace? Well, if I do it the same, now do the same for someone who runs 8:55. What is their minute per kilometer pace? So we now know the goal pace to get them to run that is 4 minutes per kilometer, and their current pace is going to be this elevator music, keep playing in the background, do a little dance. So come on, ChatGPT. So we've got 4 minutes and 28 seconds, but that's where they currently they have to run approximately 28 seconds faster per minute, right? To get them where they want to get to. Doable, potentially, maybe a bit too much, but it gives us a rough idea. And then finally, right, if we want to work out their mass pace, right, we now need to go back to this pace, right? So this is their current pace, what they can potentially run at 2Ks. So we now need to ask them, okay, based on a 4 minute 28 second per kilometer pace, what is 120% pace of this? Please note, this is an important bit to write down. Please note, this is supposed to help to make them run faster. Sometimes they get the calculations wrong, so you need to prompt it to say you try and get them to run faster. Them to run 120%. We want them to run faster at 120% of this pace. Right, let's press it into here now. So based on 428, we now have this does its little maths. When it comes, let's convert this. Thanks, ChatGPT. Come on, keep going. Three minutes, 43 seconds per kilometer. Right? That's essentially what we have here now. So by having this pace, we now want to work out, so based on 3 minutes, 43 seconds per kilometer, calculate predicted times for 200 meters, 400 meters, 800 meters, 1500 meters, and 2K. Put it in a table at the end.
You just need to add some elevator music onto this, James.
I know it does. It's so boring, isn't it? Thanks for jumping in. Like literally leaving me hanging for a long time. It's taking this long to jump in. But it's like I said, I'm trying. Like I said, doing it live is harder than explaining it than it is like doing it in person. I do it straight away, like
absolutely,
literally less than 2
absolutely. But
minutes.
what
Have this, wouldn't we?
Yeah, what could also be good for people though is what about giving them the link to the running calculator that we also use as well online, so you can check it again, because it is really good. But yeah, it doesn't have a way to go back to 2K. So you have to do some maths yourself as well.
There we go. So 2K time based on 120%, right, of the initial time. All right, summary table will be so 43 seconds, 200 meters, 125, 249, 531, and 723. Now, do we think 723 is slightly unrealistic? Absolutely. For somebody getting that pace, but he wants to get to 8 minutes. But it just gives you an idea of like how maybe even 800 meters that pace may be unrealistic for them. So we need to scale it back a little bit accordingly, right? So I know there's a lot of maths and a lot of data behind this, but I just wanted to show you how we'd use this and how we'd map it and put it out. So when you pull the data into simple spreadsheets in front of you, it makes it a lot simpler so we can use it and create training plans accordingly. So we then have a 3-day, say 4-day plan for this person, 2 easy runs, 1 medium, one fast run, or 1 easy, 2 medium, 1 fast, however you want to map it out accordingly. But we can give them specific times to hit. So if I was getting him to do repeats at 120% pace based on his current times, I'd say, hey, I'd like you to hit, 200 meters at 43 seconds. This is not balls out as hard as you can kind of pace. This is speed work where you should be able to maintain it, right, and do multiple repeats of this each and every time. So that just gives you an idea of how we're using it and applying it and how ChatGPT is making our life easier to make complex maths simpler, that we couldn't really do the same before. Does that make sense? So Josh, anything you want to add into this?
Yeah, just so that the way we do things, and maybe we could do another training lab about this in a little more depth. It's like, 43 seconds for 200 meters. Obviously, it's not that fast, is it? It's doable, but we do it for volume to repeat again. It's not just about being able to do it once or twice. It's recovering. Generally, we use heart rate recovery for most people now, especially more advanced, rather than time. And then it's personalized again. And it's about being able to do it for volume, as you say, 8, 9, 10 repeats of 200 at that pace. Repeat. And then if your times start to drop off, you're done for the day.
Yeah, exactly. No, we wouldn't use this for getting somebody a faster 200 meters. That's a totally different ballgame, right? That's speed development, speed work. This is for 2K time trials and building up, because you need to have that lactic ability and the aerobic capacity to be able to do it, because 2K is a horrible time, right? Maybe not as bad as 800 meters and 400 meters, but like it's still horrible in its own right with what we're trying to do. But it's a little idea of how we're trying to apply it and using ChatGPT for maths formulas and equations, what we're doing here at Strength Matters. So I'll lead into the last little section. So open up to the floor. Anyone have any specific questions they'd like to ask us? Terry's lurking in the background. Hopefully, Terry good to have you back, Terry. It's been a while since we've had you here. If you have any questions, feel free to let us know. Likewise, Andrew, Ken, Jurgen, any questions from you guys and how we're using ChatGPT or anything around conditioning, stuff like that, please feel free. This is just the first one we're doing in this series around how we're using AI to better make better decisions for our clients. So the floor is now open.
So James, when I was looking at that, so you used, I think it was the Ruger, but once you were in that session, that was the primary context that ChatGPT was calculating continuously as long as you stayed in that chat session.
Yeah,
it didn't go to.
If you stay in that session, so the way I use ChatGPT now is that was a brand new session. That was, by the way, that was a new session I created deliberately for you guys. We have a session in ChatGPT that is specifically for calculating it, and we've trained it up over months now, so it makes it quicker for us to do it. So it takes the feedback and the insights from the last like 3-4 months of how we've done it. So ideally we have different things set up and saved for different things we're trying to do. So rather than create a new session each time we use ChatGPT, which creates 1,000,001 ChatGPT things, we only create like 10 to 12 of what we're using all the time, and we use it in the same data. Maybe we'll add in a new one when we need something new, but we have a specific running calculator session that we go back to in ChatGPT every time.
Okay. And then it seemed like, I apologize, I missed the first part because of my computer, but the more specific you are, the more redundant you are, sometimes it's necessary to get it to understand what you're really trying to get it to do then.
Yeah, it absolutely need to be as specific and clear as you can with the instructions. So I like to say acknowledge this, do this, and break it down to simple steps and give it some context of who it's for most of the time. So like a little bit of patience early doors, it reaps the rewards later down the line. So yeah, it's all about the prompts you use.
And then just a funny thing, I noticed how polite you are saying please. Does that make it happier? More responsive?
Who knows? It might do. It might do. Maybe Skynet won't be as angry.
That was it. I was going to say, Josh is going like me and him joke about Skynet and like taking over the world each time. I think it just matters. I feel I need to be talked to it like as a human being. So it's to avoid us being killed by Skynet first, and just to force a habit, I think.
I love it.
There you go. Cool. Jürgen, any questions from you? Nope, shaking his head. He's all good. Ken, any questions your end? Nice one. Andrew?
Ken just wants to watch the replay.
No, I just think it's great that we can utilize things like AI now to speed the process up, particularly with calculations. It's also good for sorting out meal plans and macronutrients and the likes as well. But again, it comes down to the right prompts, playing with it, and then obviously doing your own testing and checking. As you get more comfortable with it and you get better with the prompts, it churns out better results then. And I'm with you guys as always. Please, thank you, and and being very polite.
Exactly. No, it's true, and we're going to cover all this stuff as well in the future. Like we do so many things with it now, to double check our own calculations are working too. So yeah, it's not just for running. I'm just using it. I want to use a different example to what most people are doing. People are using strength training plans and like weighting loads and stuff like that. And you can do that. And also calories. Precision Nutrition have recently done a whole webinar about that. But I want to show you how we're applying it with conditioning and running. Because guess what? It doesn't just work with running. It works with assault bike work, rowing work, all these other things as well that we use time and time again. So it does speed up our workflow. It uses data to make us get better decisions, and it helps us get through our clients and work with our clients better and more efficiently. And that's the key thing.
Well, and I think the session, what you showed, answers my question, what I was trying to point out to people in my chat discussion about it. It's kind of like when Google hit the scenes and everybody was Googling their health condition and running to their doctor demanding certain things. This is a thing for clients that need to understand. They feel like, I know locally people are running onto ChatGPT and feeling like they're getting their answers. But just like you said, you have to know what you're doing to know if the answers you're getting are accurate or correct. So you still need that expertise to play in on it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's the same with like, so the first few times we did it, me and Josh had the calculator at hand. I was doing it here, and we realized that ChatGPT was doing the wrong calculations. So 100, this is why I said 120% pace, meaning you go faster. Excuse me.
Excuse you. Okay.
As I die here slowly. Oh my God.
Take it. You got any water?
Oh dear.
Live on air.
Live. The problem's with live TV, hey? No, it was doing the wrong calculations. It wasn't getting it right. And we had to make sure you've prompted it correctly. So when we said 120% of this pace, it was going 120%, adding a 20%. So it was adding the 20% side. So we say, hey, do it faster. That's the thing that helped us get it right. I'm going to use Josh, take over a second. I was like,
James is just dying in the background there. Yeah, as we said, Terry, it's all about getting the prompts correct and making sure that you do have an awareness of what the right answer should be in the back. Because obviously, if it comes up with something, you're like, great, that's right, and it's completely off. You've got to have a good idea of what you think the answer should be in the first place, which is why, like I said, I think we should give the link to the running calculator we also use to check our maths. So you can, because it is a really good one if you don't have ChatGPT 4 to use that calculator, because it is a good one.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, we'll definitely use it. And we are using this as well to help create training plans in ideas. We've tried out with Teresa to some good effect in certain cases. But again, it's applying what we know already to the formulas and stuff we're doing already in our thought process. It just helps us. It's slow to begin with, like anything. It's all about investing time to build it up and teach it, and then you can start using it long term. But we definitely see it as a future and something that should be part of your programming at the moment if you're not doing it already, or if you're not sure how. Don't worry, we're on the case and we'll help you figure that stuff out, because that's what we're here for here. There we go. Cool. So, as always, the best chat happens off air. So, for most people who've got questions they want off air, we'll be stopping recording soon. So, if you missed out this time, remember the after party is always the place to be at. All right. So, this is what's going to happen now. So, as always, thank you very much. Please let us know what you think of the new slides. I hope you've enjoyed the new slides. I enjoyed using my little pointy clicker thing again, which is quite nice. And as always, ciao for now. As I say, you can down here in Wales, and we'll see you on the next Train Lab. So, guys, thanks for joining in.